I have a question that I would like to ask you today. Are you a mumbler, complainer, and a blamer? Could you be a mumbler, complainer, and a blamer, and you don't even know it? And somebody may say, what are you talking about? Well, as I was reading over the children of Israel, and I was just thinking about their lives. And see, I was thinking about how the children of Israel was God chosen people that he chose. God rescued them from under Pharaoh, that they was under slavery up under him. Well, God rescued them from Egypt. God rescued them and took care of them in the wilderness. God did so many signs and wonders before the children of Israel's eyes. Everything that they went through, God was right there with them, showing them, I'm right there with you. I'm going to help you get through everything that you're going through. But it was only one problem that God was disgusted about with the children of Israel. They complained. Regardless of everything that they saw that the Lord did, they did nothing but complained and they blamed. And it made me think about how we can be today. See, sometimes we can be the 2.0 children of Israel, the new millennium children of Israel, because when you read over it, the very things that they was doing back then, we're doing those very things now, and I know I was guilty of it. Because it's like when you read about the children of Israel, it's almost like you can see yourself through them. And I could very well see myself like, man, all God tries to do is help us out. He wants us to be obedient. He wants us to go in the right direction, but we still want to mumble, complain, and do our own thing. We want to mumble, complain, and we sure do love the blame. And could that be you? Because I know at one point that was me in my life. See, when I think about how the children of Israel, they could have been went to the promised land, but because of their complaining, it took them 40 years before they could get into the promised land because all they did was complain. I want you to think about that wilderness that you're dealing with, that wilderness that you're going through. Could you very well still be stuck in that wilderness, just like the children of Israel was, because all you do is mumble and complain and you play the blame game? Could that be you? Could you just be walking around in circles in your life because you just love to complain? See, when is the last time, instead of complaining to the Lord, that you was thankful for the Lord? Be real now. When is the last time, instead of you complaining to the Lord, that you gave all your praises to the Lord? And see, I had to make a decision in my life and say, you know what, Lord, I'm no longer going to complain to you, but I'm going to thank you. And it turned my life around. Because what we don't realize when we're doing all that complaining and that blaming, how does it help you grow? All it does is keep you in that same situation. And that's maybe the very reason right now that you're in that same dead end situation in your life, because all you do is mumble and complain and you play the blame game. When is the last time that you ever went to the Lord and said, I'm no longer going to complain anymore, but Lord, I'm going to thank you? In every situation, it may be hard to believe to some people, but it's always something to be thankful for. Some people may find it hard to even be thankful during a time of death. And yes, it's a hard time, but you still have to be thankful, because whether you lost your mama, your daddy, your sister, brother, husband, wife, when is the last time that you said, Lord, I want to thank you for the time that you gave me with my mama? When is the last time you just said, Lord, I want to thank you for the time that you gave me with my wife, with my husband, with my kids? When is the last time that you just said, Lord, I thank you? When is the last time that you just told the Lord, I thank you for my husband, instead of always complaining about my husband? When is the last time that you said, Lord, I just want to say thank you for this job, instead of always complaining about the job? See, the very thing that I find so funny with people who complain a whole lot, they can complain about the job, but then they cry to God when they no longer have the job. All you did was complain about your husband and wife, but then you cry when you no longer have that husband or wife. Could that very well be you? See, it's easy to take things for granted when all we do is complain about things. And then when you complain about things, it can turn you very nasty and bitter about everything. And it's a lot of people out there, let's just be honest, and you could very well be one of them. People may hate to see you coming because all you're going to do is complain about everything. You complain about everything and you blame everybody else for everything. When is the last time that you just pointed the fingers at yourself and said, you know what, Lord, it's me. It's me. Instead of it being mama's fault, the job fault, your husband's fault, the white man's fault. When did you ever just point fingers at yourself and say, maybe it's just my fault? Is it everybody's fault that you stay in and out of the prison system? Is everybody else's fault you can't keep a job? Is everybody else's fault you can't keep a stable relationship? You mean it's everybody else's fault that your credit is bad? It's everybody else's fault that you love to go to the casino? It's everybody else's fault that you're not good with your money? It's everybody else's fault. When is it your fault? See, just like back then, and it's the same right now. God didn't like the children of Israel complaining, and he doesn't like it when I complain, and he doesn't like it when you complain. And if you got that complaining spirit in you, that blaming spirit in you, you need to go before God and say, God, I'm through. You need to take it to God and say, God, I'm through. I don't want to blame anymore, and I don't want to complain anymore. Some of us, it's just time for us to thank God and give God the glory and the praise. Switch your complaining around to being thankful for God, because I can tell you right now, it did miraculous things in my life. When I went before the Lord and said, I will no longer complain to you, Lord, but I'm going to start thanking you, Lord. Watch how your life turn around, when you're no longer going to God just complaining to him, but you giving all the praises to him. And you can come out of that wilderness instead of going around in circles and circles and circles. So some of us right now, it's time for us to go to the Lord, go before the Lord and say, Lord, I don't want to complain no more. Lord, forgive me for always complaining to you. Forgive me, Lord, for sometimes for complaining about you. Forgive me, Lord, for pointing the blame at everybody else. Forgive me, Lord, for pointing the blame at you. We need to go to God and take responsibility before him. Get our life together, and we can start living a life that's pleasing to him. And when our eyes close, we will be greeted by him. So always remember my closing. Self-examination is the best examination. And Jesus Christ is Lord, and he's all we have. Have a great rest of the day.